Hey everyone, this is Eran Stern with another chapter for the Effects A to Z series. And this time we'll bust the dust of one of my favorite distortion effects that's also known by the name bulge. Sounds a little bit French, I know, but I think it's only coincidence. The simple meaning of the word is a rounded projection, like a bending distortion in circles. This, I guess, is the reason you'll find it in the distort category, and in this short lesson I'll show you two uses for it, although you can come up with a lot more, I'm sure. So first, let's open up this comp named The Story of Film, which you can download, by the way, from my website sternfx.com if you want to explore it more closely. In this case, we will concentrate in the lens layer here, which already has the magnify effect on it. So now I will also add the bulge effect as well. This bulge effect will help us to emphasize the lens distortion for our little device here. When you apply the effect and select it, you should see in the comp window a small circle that's been driven with the three attributes of this effect. The horizontal and the vertical radius will set the width and the height for the distorted area in pixels. You can of course also set the radius value by dragging the selection circle here in the comp window itself. So let's do just that and release it just over the middle of our device here. Now of course you can stretch the circle to match your aim until it's covering the place that you want to distort. As for the other controls we have here, let's skim on them really quickly. So the bulge center is the center of the distortion area. The bulge height is the depth of the bulge. Positive value will push it towards the viewer, while negative values will push the bulge away from the viewer. The taper radius defines the shallowness of the sides of the bulge, and I will demonstrate it once again later when we will come to the second comp. I will just say that a taper radius of 0 produces a steep pronounced bulge. Anti-aliasing of course will control the amount of the edge smoothing of the boundaries of the bulge, and you always stick with high. And last, the pin all edges will try to prevent the edges of the layer from being bulging. Okay, so now that we know what each and every control is doing, let's see a few examples and putting it to good use. So my first example can speak for itself. It's pretty obvious that in this case we will create a lens distortion. Just remember that after you set it and reach a certain look, you should always link the bulge center to the correct layer so they will move together. In this case, let me just press Alt to create an expression for it, and then I will pick whip it to the position of the layer above. Now, when I will move the layer above, the effects, also the magnify and the bulge effect, are following the center position of this layer, and this creates this nice zoom or magnify effect. Another good use for this effect is also to apply it on text, especially when this text is revolving around a spherical object. Let me show you an example. I will open up my second comp here. What we have in this shot is a background image of a city, and on top of it is a special circling building which was designed and built only using small solid square here in After Effects and bunch of effects on top of it. I will just let you take a short glimpse of it just in order to see what's going on, but I'm not going to divert from the main subject. And now let's just select my text layer. And note that this text layer is traveling across the screen, letting you know about this wondrous building, and to it I will apply the bulge effect. Now what's nice here is that although the text layer itself is moving across the screen, the bulge effect stays in place unless you keyframe it otherwise. So let's get a little bit closer to the point where the text is just on top of the building. And then let's just start to play with it a little bit until we are wrapping around the building, and meaning that we will need to set the radius and the position and also the height just to match a good area of the building to create the distortion we are after. This is a great place to show you what is the influence of the taper values. So you can see that when I change it, the letters becomes tighter or looser to the edge of the effect. Okay, so you can of course play with it more, but I think that this is a good effect that we are getting here. And of course it's also a good idea to set the anti-aliasing to the high value. And now let's render our short scene to see the effect. Oh, by the way, I've also added here a flock of birds animation just to give it a little bit more life. You can find this video in the template folder for your After Effects software. That's of course if you choose to install the additional content that comes free of charge from Adobe. Okay, the ramp review is over and let's see what we came up with. I think this is a very nice and cool effect and I'm sure that you can come up with more uses for it. So until next time we'll meet, this is Eran Stern for MotionWorks saying goodbye.